Shalom. Call halal, Yahweh Bashem Awashai, Bahasham Makakudash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops, salutations to the 144,000 and the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth among the heathen that look like the heathen. And to the Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone, coming at you another lesson in truth. And I want to read this trademark first. All right, copyright disclaimer. Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for the purpose of such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All right, so this is real stories here, and you can see the title is South Africa's White Slums, Reggie H. documentary, Real Stories. And I want to read the scripture first and then play some of this, and this is a 50-minute video practically. And it's amazing how some of these Edomites have humbled down, but then a bulk of them are still arrogant, even in a lower state, and feel they still have this sense of entitlement, and they come with that same excuse: I wasn't there, I didn't do it, and I deserve. That's not how it works. And I'm gonna prove that to you scripturally. But first, let's go to Deuteronomy 30:7. All right, because he was there, and this is what's happening to the heathens, all right, and especially to Esau, Edom, in South Africa. It's not just in South Africa; it's in other places. It's really prominent in South Africa with the so-called white man being broken in the slums, but it's also happening all across America and across Europe too. The curses truly are falling upon them. All right, it says in Deuteronomy 30:7, and Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies and upon them that hate thee, which persecute thee. And they've been accusing and persecuting us even now. They put together these pro and tail pro Israelite groups, these 501c3 charter groups, these black and these African Israelites. When anyone who's claiming their Hebrew heritage is not going to be saying black and African. All right, because in this video, anyone who has a spiritual understanding will understand that the guy in this video, in this documentary, Reggie Yates, is an Israelite, and many of these people in the video, these so-called black people and the Africans in the video, are Hamites. All right, there are some, and there's a difference between Jacob and Ham. All right. And Jake is all intermingled and mixed in with them Hamites, but you can clearly see the spirit and the look in most cases. All right, Jacob looks different from Ham. Jacob is very handsome. Jacob, and for them in the most cases, they're very, and their skin is very is golden and has a lot of red hues in it. Where do you get that ruddiness from? All right, that reddish brown. Ham is kind of dark and dingy, kind of olive, purple like the olive, that black purple look. All right, they look different in most cases. All right, but now that I've said all that, let me let some of this video play.
South Africa, the continent's biggest success story and one of the most stunning countries in the world.
Being a tourist, don't judge me. I'm way too cool for things like that.
But this country has a very dark past. As a black man, I wouldn't have even been allowed to set foot on this very beach just 20 years ago.
Feed you to the
For over a
sharks.
century, a white supremacist government controlled the nation and brutally oppressed black people.
They've got no education. They've only just come down from the trees.
This system of racial separation was called apartheid.
Wow, they only just come down from the trees. You hear this? And a lot of them still feel like that today.
and was only abolished in 1994 when Nelson Mandela and the ANC came to power.
Today,
And Nelson Mandela is a true blue Hamite. All right, he's Hamitic, and the Hamites are the enemies of Israel. All right, they're the enemy of the Israelites.
the dawn of our freedom.
There has been such extreme levels of segregation here, and knowing that that ended only 2 decades ago, I'm desperate to see how that has changed the lives of people just like me, if at all.
Laser hair removal by Laser Way
Goddamn
is
commercials,
next level.
pieces of shit.
Life before laser hair removal.
Poverty is rife here, and today people talk of a new underclass emerging. It's not black people.
That's the way to do it.
But why?
I can't imagine anything worse than waking up in there.
We are going to take that belongs to us.
With years of hatred to overcome,
They're gonna kill us.
and both sides still playing the race card.
Most white people learned black people the things they know today.
And you hear that? He said most white people learn black people the things they learn today, which is a complete and total lie. That is a racist lie. Almost all the conventions of the 19th century, of the 18th century, were made by so-called black slaves. All right? Some of the most basic and most important ones. Traffic light, refrigeration, air conditioning, the stove, the toilet, the shoehorn, the comb, the light bulb. They keep saying Edison when it was Latimer. There's a whole federal court case you can go look up to prove that Latimer was the one that invented the filament for the light bulb. But what did they teach you in school? Thomas Edison, white superiority, and they made that up. There was no such thing as white people prior to 1681. All right, and these are the descendants of Dutch slavers. It was the Dutch slavers that decided to call you white. Call you black. Like they told you in that one episode. What was it called? American Gods. Yeah, in American Gods, he that one scene with Orlando Jones when he stated that when Orlando Jones said, "Oh, when these Dutch motherfuckers decided you," he told the slave, "Oh y'all black. Oh y'all didn't know y'all was black." All right. He said when these Dutch motherfuckers decided you was black and that they was white. So he pretty much admitted that there wasn't exactly what I just said. As a matter of fact, I did a video using that a couple years back, and I think it got me my first strike was from that video. First strike I ever got. And then all of a sudden I just kept getting striked and the videos deleted like crazy. All right. But these people, let me just go to the scriptures, man, because I'm kind of mad. This is watching this kind of gets you upset. All right, because they constantly accusing us of lies, and then they set up these false camps. Now what you got this Hebrew something unit, which is we ain't seen no faces of who this is or who these people are, but just in their opening statement lets you know that they're not following the law, statutes, and commandments, or the law or what's written in the Bible. Because the men of the Lord go out on the highways and byways and teach the message, and the weapons of our warfare is not carnal. All right, and they also refer to themselves as African and Hebrew at the same time. You can't be both. All right. But this is Revelation 12 and 10. And it reads, "And I heard a loud voice in heaven, a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come the salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of his Hamashiach. For the accusing of our brethren is cast down, who accuse them before our power day and night." And that's what they do. That man sat there proudly and said the blacks. So basically, there's parts of this video where they show you that the so-called black people, all right, are living very well collectively, all right, and you see the condition that these Edomites are living in. All right, you see the condition that they're living in, and he's mad. And you know what it is? It's just simply his turn. The tables are turning now.
Today, if our fathers and our fathers and fathers and fathers treated black people like normal people and didn't let them work like slaves and treat them like dogs, maybe it would have been different today.
He said, "It's now." She told the troops. He said, if they didn't treat them so bad, maybe things would be different today." All right, but they did. She said, if our forefathers hadn't done that, then maybe they wouldn't be treating us like like we being treated now. All right, which is and a way that these Edomites in these slums are being treated is the fear that the Edomites here in the West have always had, especially the Southerners. All right, they've always had that fear.
That's the way it's life. Because it's time now for us to pay for what our fathers did. And there's nothing you can.
So you hear that? It's time for them to pay. Matter of fact, let's go to Isaiah. She said it's time for us to pay for what our fathers did. All right. This is Isaiah 14 and 21. And it reads, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. So not only is this, so what's happening to them and now that they're living in squalor, and they were, and they were living deliciously just a couple decades ago, and now they're living in squalor, broke, with the land being taken back, all the wealth being taken back that they stole, because her son is going to speak, and he told that bold-faced lie, and he also speaks like they earned it. Look, any Edomite that has money, that owns a house, owns a property, has bank accounts, owns businesses, all of it is ill-gotten gains. And I came over here and I worked hard and my family worked hard. We never owned. No, yeah, but your people set up a system that allowed you to do that while holding my people back. You stole my land. I'm indigenous to this land. All right? You've labeled me something else. I can't even be what I really am. Then you took my brothers, brought them here in chains, and made them work the land for free. And don't want to acknowledge it. And you or you will say, oh, that was a terrible thing, but that was then, that was now. But yet you still sitting on the gold that was taken. Nah, don't work like that, player. Verse 22, Isaiah 14:22. For I will rise up against them, saith Yahweh of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and the remnant and the son and the nephew, saith the Lord. So not only is the dude going to get cut off, but his son and his nephew, there's going to be no male seeds left. And the male carries the seed. Edomites are going to completely disappear. Not to mention, just a little side note, all right, to pour some salt into an already open wound, a lot of their women is getting seeded up by brown men, especially Judah, especially Negroes. All right? A lot of so-called Hispanics are seeding up Edomite women. Edomite women are open game for everybody. Everybody's humping them, especially here in the West and in Europe.
Can do about that.
Irene strikes me as being resigned to her fate, but her son Kheri is desperate to get his family out of here. Your mum said that she thinks it's almost a little bit like a balance now. It's almost more fair for the black.
Do you hear that? See, his mom is being a realist because, see, he's young. So he grew up, he remembers when he was a kid how well they were. And now he's mad because he sees, these black people driving around in Mercedes and Benzes and living in a big city with the bright lights and the nightclubs and the restaurants and and he's living in a shanty town with shacks made of tin with dirt floors.
People, do you agree with that or disagree?
I think that's bullshit. 20 years ago, I still had fuck all. So now I've got nothing. Now they think it's balanced out. What happened years ago with the black people and the white people was nothing to do with me. I wasn't there. I didn't fight the battles with the white people and the black people.
So you're saying your generation have done nothing to deserve this? Is that how you feel?
Yeah, that's how I feel. Most white people learned black people the things they know today, especially in my company as well. And at the end, they walk out, get a better job with my knowledge, and we sit in the shithole where we are today.
But they feel marginalised. They feel that they're still suffering from the people that caused the apartheid, you know?
The time when it was like the Boere, when they call themselves Boere, had the country in their hands, there was more food in our country, more job opportunities.
That was also the apartheid though, right? When the Boer were in charge.
Yeah, but they still the black people had jobs, and they were still...
They had no rights though.
Yeah, they didn't have rights, but even though white people, what rights do we have?
But then at that time, it wasn't anything like now.
Yeah, it wasn't. I can't say because I wasn't there.
So he doesn't want to acknowledge the pain and the suffering that these people were living under apartheid. The same way Edomites here in the West do not want to acknowledge the pain and suffering that and the scars, all right, generational scars that Jake still lives under here in America, the oppression. All right. Now they're starting to actually feel that with more and more of their rights being taken away. But yet, you know, the so-called white man doesn't get nervous when the police get behind him. All right. When they're driving behind him or walking next to him all of a sudden. He doesn't feel that fear that someone that's brown, so-called brown or black feels. All right. Because he's never been treated that way. And it's just comes, he just doesn't want to, acknowledge what they've done, that they set nothing but traps and snares that ensnared Jacob and kept Jacob on the bottom, all right, wherever they were in the world. Because in this place, the super rich, the wealthiest people in South Africa are still the whites, the super elites. It's just the middle class and the low class, all right, the people that you see driving about, are the Israelites and the Africans that are intermingled there in South Africa, all right. And they're not living in a shanty town. But it doesn't matter because those super rich elites, eventually they're going to be right down there with them. This has almost the feeling of the Bacon. This was like that whole Bacon's rebellion. I keep telling brothers they need to learn about that history, about that rebellion that took place in the 1600s. All right. And in that rebellion, you had all the poor working class people together with the super rich white people, so-called, they weren't called white yet, the Edomites. Ruling over them all, and when they saw that the poor broke white man was kicking it, working side by side with the poor broke so-called black man, so-called native man, and along with the Moabites that were there, when they saw that them banding together against them, they introduced whiteness, which gave this piece of shit, it gave him rights and privileges that put him at the front of the line. All right. Didn't just make him super rich, but it gave him front of the line privileges that over the generations he got used to. And now that they've been taken away, he has a problem with it. All right. He didn't want to see what, that fair is fair. That would be square. All right. But let me read Psalms. Let me go to Psalms. 119 and 110. I believe it's 110. Yep, and it is. Let's highlight that in red. All the Edomite scriptures get highlighted in red. And it reads, "The wicked have laid a snare for me, yet I've erred not from thy precepts." So the wicked has laid snares for Jacob. And funny thing is that Jake that's coming back to the law, statutes, and commandments, cleaving unto the precepts, are actually making their way through this. And that's the only way to get through this, through what we're all about to go through. Because little does he know is everybody's about to be living almost in the shanty conditions. That's how Esau plans on breaking the people so everybody can accept his new digital currency, because most of the people are going to reject it at first. So he's going to create this hellish conditions on earth, but he's actually going to lose control over that chaos and lose control over the people. All right. And when he goes to fill his belly, when he goes to establish this, all right, and starts persecuting and killing and controlling people, when he goes to establish this all, then the Lord's it's over for him. Matter of fact, let's go to Job. All right. When he goes to fill his belly, man, it's over. This is Job. Actually, this should all be in red too. This is talking about the wicked. Let's change that color to red. This is Job 18:5. And it reads, "Yeah, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine. The light shall be dark in his tabernacle, and his candle shall be put out with him." All right. So all his so-called wisdom, his light, his understanding. All right. You heard this dude. Everything that the blacks know, the whites learned them. It's taught them. Oh, they learned from the whites, idiot. But it says he sounded like Larry from the Three Stooges. That'll learn you. All right. But it says, "The steps of his strength shall be straightened, and his own counsel shall cast him down." That's exactly what this guy is going through. All right. His strength has been straightened. He's going through straights now, and his own counsel have cast him down. All right. It says, "For he is cast into a net by his own feet, and he walketh upon a snare. The gin shall take him by the heel, and the robber shall prevail against him. The snare is laid for him in the ground, and a trap for him in the way. Terror shall make him afraid on every side, and shall drive him to his feet." Because there's also been a lot of murders and a lot of killing of Edomites. I would say killing, not murders. All right. Because a murder is a sin. Killing is not a sin. All right, because if you rape, robbed, and murder, justice is that you get raped, robbed, and murdered back. That's what justice is. You always got Nancy Grace talking about justice for this and justice for that. Well, justice would be you Edomites having done unto you what you did to get what you got, and they don't want to acknowledge that they have everything they have through rape, rob, and murdery, military rape, rob, and murdery, civilian rape, rob, and murder, military rape, rob, and murder. They don't want to acknowledge that simple truth. All right, they want to talk around it. They write in their history books. They try to write it with speech as if everything just was a smooth transition, but if they were doing a favor to you as they were rape, robbing, and taking your gold, your land, and all your goods and services for free. It says, let's see. I'm going to jump up to verse 16 because that whole chapter is fire. Verse 16 reads, Job 18:16. "His root shall be dried up beneath, and above shall his branch be cut off." So they finished. "His remembrance shall perish from the earth, and he shall have no name in the street. He shall be driven from the light into darkness, and chased out of the world." All right, because this is it for Esau Edom. This is his last hurrah, and they know that their time is short. All right, "He shall neither have son or nephew among his people, nor any remaining in his dwellings." All right, so because you need sons and nephews. All right, your brother's children, sons, and your children for your people to continue going. All right, simple as that. And you have to remember that's why it's such a big push for Edomites to have babies. All right, because a lot of Edomite women are having babies with brown men. All right, it's and dwindling the numbers of the Edomites, at least ones that look like Esau, because Esau Edom impregnates. You got nigger women that's having babies with them all the time. All right, and those babies are just chocolate covered Edomites, but that number is far few in between when you look at it the other way around. It's more Edomite women, all right, having babies with Jake than it is the other way around. But it says, "They that come after him shall be astonished at his day, as they went before and were affrighted." That's this guy. "Surely such are the dwellings of the wicked, and this is the place of him that knoweth not God. So he don't know and understand God. So he doesn't understand what's happening to him. But he's going to learn. All right? He's going to learn. So Esau's getting ready to move because he knows that he has a little time left. See if I can get that real quick. Revelation 12 and 12. And it reads, Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth, and of that and that of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth he have but a short time. So with that, I'm going to give all praises, all glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash, Wa Abba Babal, Kwam Yasharala.